Hi, I'm Sara Campbell and welcome to Freediving Legends. Today I'm with Andrea Zuccari. Not quite a freediving legend in that he has a world record, but he's making an attempt on Herbert's No Limits world record of 214 next year?
Probably yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about that. How's it going for you?
The last July I did the Italian record in No Limits, diving in under 75 meters.
Wow.
And it was my deepest dive in No Limits. I developed some special technique for the equalization, and my dive was performed with a mask.
175 with a mask?
Yes, this is the deepest dive in the world performed with a mask.
Okay, so tell me about this special equalization technique.
But I'm just was able to develop to the maximum of the potentiality the mouthfill technique.
Okay.
And so also with the mask I was able to dive in that depth, and I think that is possible to dive up to 200 or maybe also for the record attempt still with the mask.
With the mask, my goodness. And what's it like down there? Are you suffering from narcosis or oxygen toxicity or anything else weird going on?
No, I have to say that in these years of training,
Yeah.
I started in 2009 with the first Swiss record attempt in under 20 meter. I was a little bit narc in that time, but now with more and more training I get more used, and the last dive was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I think and I really believe that with more training and it's possible to move the problem of the narcosis deeper and deeper.
Yeah, so the body adapts also to the narcosis as well as to everything else.
Yes, I think that one of the key points is the number of the dive before the record attempt.
Okay. So when you say the number of dives before a record attempt, are you doing that depth before you actually attempt it on an official day?
No, it's not. I don't need to arrive to the same depth of the record attempt, but the important that just before I'm able to perform several dives on depth that slowly are getting closer to that depth.
Right.
To arrive to the 175 meter, I did something like twice 165,
Right.
3 diving under 50, several diving under 40, and let's say in all my career now I have more than 100 dive below 100 meters.
Really?
Yes.
100 below 100. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, I mean, for you, preparing for this record attempt, what are the important aspects that for you have to have right before you dive?
The most important point is the safety.
Right, yeah, of course.
I believe that it's possible to dive to 250 meters, but for me the idea is to go for the record only when I will have the budget to cover the cost of one medical team that can follow me for the last couple of months before the record attempt, not just for the dive.
Oh, really?
And in this way they can, let's say, make one checkup of me just before and just after each single dive.
Okay.
Already for the previous record, I was working with one doctor that is here in El-Sheikh, that is by the responsible of the deco chamber, and after each single dive I used to go in the deco chamber to make one medical check and to check if the lungs and everything was fine and if I could go for the deepest dive.
Okay, yeah. And in terms of the equipment, the safety team, all of this, how are you going to manage all of that?
I think that we will go to do some small modification on the sled,
Right.
but I want to keep the same sled and the same setup because now it's running since many years.
Yeah.
Different athletes, they already performed also world record in variable with this sled, so the system and the machine for himself is working fine.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of development on the sled, and I think that this moment is working fine. So. I want to keep working on this one because it's one set up really light and is easy to manage in case of emergency. We have one team that is already well trained. We have the safety freedivers. They use also the scooter. In the last record attempt, I had the deepest diver was in under 50 meters. That was providing me the safety. So probably we will keep the same team also for the next record attempt.
Okay, good luck. So I'm not sure if it was your accent or my ears. Did you say 250 or 215?
250.
50?
Yes.
You're going to attempt 250?
No.
But you think it's possible?
Yes.
Okay. But what are you going to attempt, 215?
15, yes.
Okay, so Herbert has it at 214 officially?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Have you spoken to him about this? I mean, after his accident?
Yeah.
And what does he say?
He wished me good luck.
Yeah.
And I also talked with him, and I asked him if he want to be involved in the next record attempt.
Okay.
Because I have really big respect about him, and for sure his experience is really important. And so I asked if I will go for this record, and I will find the situation to do it if we want to be involved.
Okay. And has he given you an answer yet, or
He
he's
told
waiting?
me, when you will decide, let me know, and I will give you an answer.
Cool. That would be great if he could be there.
Yes, sure.
And I mean, he has so much experience at depth.
Definitely.
And I mean, I've been talking with Umberto as well, and he called Herbert the GOAT, the greatest of all time, in terms of what he did actually to pioneer a lot of the techniques for very deep diving. And I mean, you've kind of stepped into that position with Freediving World and all that you're doing for equalization techniques, relaxation techniques, the workshops you're doing, the equipment that you're using as well to help people understand what they do when they equalize and how to get the right amount of pressure out into your ears. So it would be lovely if Herbert
should be really nice.
Could be alongside you for that. Good. Two goats together.
Thank you very much.
And so other than your world record attempt, hopefully next year, what else is going on for you?
This year I decided to go back to the constant weight.
Oh, really?
It was a long time that I was not performing some deep diving constant, so I decided to attempt probably in the next July the Italian record in constant weight.
What does it stand at currently?
The currently is under 4 meters.
Ooh, so 105.
Yeah, let's say that the mental target is under 10.
Okay.
Just to move
Give
the barrier a
yourself
little
some
bit
margin.
higher.
Good. And how's your training going? Where are you at the moment?
In this moment I'm still far because we miss 3 months and I don't want to be too deep too early, because I don't want to arrive to the record attempt exhausted. So I'm trying to plan the training really with one good schedule. I worked a lot on the dry training during all the winter, and now I start just to approach with a repetitive dive in constant, and slowly I will go deeper and deeper in the next 3 months.
Yeah. So how do you manage? I mean, this for me is really one of the things I find most inspiring about what you do, is that you are running one of the biggest, most successful freediving schools, and you still manage to find time to do training and make record attempts. I mean, for me it was impossible, but how do you do this? I mean, for me it's a superhuman achievement.
It's definitely difficult.
Yeah.
For me, the only way to train in the water is in the early morning.
Yeah.
Because it's the only moment where I can just wake up, go in the water, go inside the training mode, do my training, and then switch to the working mode.
Okay.
Instead, already in the past, I've tried to do the opposite. So come back in the center, start to work, and then, now I have 1 hour, I go for training, and I realized that was totally impossible.
Yeah.
Instead, in this way, yes, I have to wake up quite early because we used to go in the water before 7 o'clock.
Okay.
But then once that I did my training, I can switch and start to work. And then once that I finish the working time around 6 o'clock, I can go back at home and go back again in the training mode, so to work with some relaxation, breathing technique, still in this part of the training, some preparation in the gym, and this kind of training.
So you have long days.
Yes.
Up at 6, and then you say you get home at 6, and then your training continues.
Yes.
You are Superman.
Thank you. I would like to think like this.
And I remember having a chat with you a couple of years ago. You'd been doing a lot of sled diving, and you found that you were getting very weak and you were anemic, and you were tested, and that because the oxygen was compressing so much at depth, bonded into the blood cells, that you were losing blood cells and your red blood cell count dropped.
Yeah.
So how are you counteracting that?
In this moment, that's why I told you that in this moment I'm not doing too much deep to avoid to go back in this kind of problem.
Right.
What I realized that in the freediving community, there is not a lot the sense of the training and the sinusoid of our performance during the year.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to take care, because it's not possible to keep the high performance for a long time.
No.
So we need to create this situation where in the couple of weeks that is the window for the record attempt, we are to the top.
Yeah.
So I cannot start to go too deep too early.
No.
And I don't think that we need to do it, because I'm totally sure that our body is able to go on depth comfortable without adaptation to the depth. It's the mind that needed the adaptation.
Okay, I mean, when I hear you say that, sort of a big part of me goes, oh my God, there's people out there listening and they're 20-meter divers, and they'll go, I don't need to adapt for 50. And, you know, isn't this where lung squeezes happen? Or, people think they're mentally strong, but they don't realize actually they're not relaxed and they're stressed. And
yeah, it's different from what you believe to what you are. So
this comes from an experienced freediver
sure.
saying this. Okay.
This year I did one, let's say, extreme test.
Okay.
I was out of the water for almost 4 months.
Yeah.
I was in Europe working in providing equalization workshop.
Yes.
I came back in Sharm, and the first day without any warm up was 100 meters with a sled.
Seriously?
Yes, and the feeling was definitely not so bad. I cannot say that it was perfectly the same when I'm really well trained, but I was able to manage without any problem to the lungs, without any problem for the equalization. So
but this is from a man who's done 100 meters below 100. So on some level, your body must remember it.
I don't believe that is the problem of the body, but the problem of the mind. My mind know that I can do it, and but not follows. I say to myself that I can do it. I know that I can do it.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that this is working for everybody. Okay?
No.
And also when I used to teach, I explained that personally I quit from any warm-up before the dive. But doesn't mean that everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Because the number of the dive and the number of days spent in the water, for me, is different from everybody else.
Yes.
There are athletes that are also deeper than me and much stronger than me that anyway don't spend so much time in the water. So what can work for me maybe doesn't work for them.
Who is deeper and stronger than you, Andrea? I can't think of anybody.
In different discipline, not in this moment in the no limits, but in the discipline like in constant, is plenty of freedivers deeper than me.
A handful. A handful. Okay. And what do you see are the techniques which for you are really exciting in terms of changing the face of the sport?
For me, the important thing is understand that the training is part of the preparation of the dive and part of the work on the mind. If we plan the training in one certain way and we are able to work on that and understand our limits and our knowledge and our potentiality, then in the moment that you go for the dive there is less stress.
Yeah.
And I have to say that in almost all my record attempts, the level of stress for the dive was not really high. Maybe just the last one for the 175 meter I was a little bit stressed because I knew that that depth in that moment was close to the limits of my equalization ability. And I knew that I have to do everything perfect. Instead, just the record before that was 155 meter, I was much less stressed because I knew that even doing some mistake, I could perform that kind of depth.
Yeah.
And this is important because if you arrive to the day of the record, each kind of discipline, and you think, I hope to be able to do it, you start already with a high level of stress.
Yeah.
Instead, when I go for one record, I know that I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
totally
something
different.
can always go wrong. Okay, there is more current, there is something wrong during the dive, but that can be just one small situation that can be the exception.
Yeah. So I know for me, when I teach, I have a fairly unusual style in that I use Kundalini Yoga a lot in what I'm teaching my students, but I'm always very, very clear to say this, this works for me. Try it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, go to Andrea, go to Linda, go to, I recommend that people try as many different techniques out for themselves and find what works. How do you work with students who are struggling with equalization or they're struggling with a certain aspect of their diving?
My approach to the equalization is really rational and scientific. So I worked a lot with different doctors. I worked on the physics rules in the water, and I developed one program that I like it because it's not working just on me. Because I could have something special, and that's why I go deeper. Instead, I'm really happy because this program is working with many freedivers, and now I have more than 10 athletes that already dived deeper than 100 meters with sled. And so that means that this technique is not working only with me, but is working with everybody that decide to approach this technique and to work hard on the awareness of the organs involved in the equalization and the awareness of the technique.
So, I mean, have you taken the mouthful and adapted it, or is it standard mouthful, but you're just helping people to get more out of it?
Let's say that is the standard mouthful that everybody perform, but working on that for so long time, and I was able to find the small details that all together they can make the difference.
Okay.
And my main goal is always work to increase the ability of the athletes on the management of the mouthful.
Yeah.
And then once that they have the perfect management, it's enough to charge a little bit deeper, and then on that you're going to get really meters, a lot of meters.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have a date in mind for your attempt, or you're just, it's out there for 2016 and it's another year's cycle and you see how it goes? Or
let's say in this moment I'm focused on the training and the record attempt in July for the constant.
Okay.
Then after that I will work to plan for I hope the next year the record attempt for the no limits.
Okay, great. Well, good luck with your constant weight.
Thank you very much.
Plus 104, that's deeper than me. Yay! Go! And thank you very much for taking time today. It's
Welcome.
been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks to you.
So thank you for stopping by and catching up with another freediving legend. And I'll see you here again very soon. Take care out there. Sat Nam.